Hello everyone, welcome back to Corporate Nomi. In this video, we are continuing our REST API interview series. Now we will cover questions 31 to 40. These questions focus on data formats, architecture, throttling, and API communication concepts that are very important for interviews. So let's begin. Now our first question is, what is rate limiting? Rate limiting means restricting the number of API requests a client can make within a specific time frame. For example, an API might allow only 100 requests per minute per user. If the user can exceed this limit, the server may block further requests temporarily. Rate limiting protects the server from overload and prevents misuse or spam. It also ensures fair usage among all clients. Usually, when the limit is exceeded, the server responds with status code 429, too many requests. So in interviews, you can say that rate limiting improves API stability and performance. Next question is difference between XML and JSON. XML and JSON are both data formats used for transferring data between clients and servers. JSON stands for JavaScript's Object Notation. It is lightweight, easy to read, and easy to parse. That is why it is mostly used in REST APIs. XML stands for Extensible Markup Language. It is more structured but also more verbose, meaning it uses more tags and takes more space. JSON is faster and simpler, while XML supports schema validation and is often used in older enterprise systems. In modern APIs, JSON is preferred because it improves performance and readability. Now, next question is what is Open API? That is Swagger. Swagger. Open API, also known as Swagger, is a specification used to document REST APIs. It provides a standard format to describe API endpoints, request parameters, responses, and authentication methods. Using OpenAI, developers can automatically generate API documentation and even client SDKs. Swagger UI allows developers to test APIs directly from the browser. In simple words, OpenAPI helps make APIs more understandable, maintainable, and easy to test. Next question is, what is the difference between put, post, patch, delete, and get? So these are HTTP method used in REST APIs and each has a specific purpose. Get is used to retrieve data without modifying anything. Post is used to create new resource. Put is used to completely replace an existing resource. Patch is used to partially update a resource. Delete is used to remove a resource. Together, these methods help perform CRUD operation, that is create, read, update and delete. Understanding when to use each method correctly is very important for designing clean APIs. Next question is difference between query parameters and path parameters. Path parameters are part of the URL and are used to identify a specific resource. For example, /user/10. So here 10 is a path parameter. Query parameter appear after a question mark in the URL and are usually optional. For example, /users question mark and role equals to admin. Path parameters are mandatory and identify a resource, while query parameters are used for filtering, sorting, or searching. In simple terms, path parameters define which resource, and query parameter defines how to filter it. Now, the next question is what is client-server architecture in REST? In client-server architecture, the client and server are separate systems. The client is responsible for user interface and user experience. The server handles data storage, business logic, and processing. They communicate through APIs, usually over HTTP. This separation allows both client and server to evolve independently. For example, you can update the front end without changing backend logic. This separation improves scalability and flexibility. Now next question is, what is stateless versus stateful? Stateless means the server does not store client session information between requests. Every request must contain all required data. Stateful means the server maintains session information about the client. It remembers previous interactions. REST APIs are stateless, which makes them easier to scale and distribute across multiple servers. Stateful systems are more complex because session management is required. In interview, always mention that REST follows stateless architecture. Next question is difference between JSON and XML. JSON is lightweight, easy to read, and preferred in REST APIs. It uses key value pairs and is easy for machines to parse. XML is more verbose and uses tags to structure data. It supports schemes and validation but increases data size. JSON improves performance because it consumes less bandwidth. XML is still used in SOAP-based service and legacy systems, so JSON is modern and efficient, while XML is structured but heavier. Now, next question is, what is API throttling? API throttling is similar to rate limiting because slightly different its behavior. Throttling controls the speed of incoming requests. Instead of completely blocking requests, it may slow them down once a limit is reached. It helps prevent sudden spikes in traffic from affecting server performance. Throttling ensures smooth and controlled request handling. In simple terms, rate limiting sets maximum request, while throttling controls request flow when limiting are approached. Now next question is difference between synchronous and asynchronous API calls. In synchronous API calls, the client sends a request and waits until the server sends a response. The process is blocked until response is received. In asynchronous API calls, the client sends a data request and continues executing other tasks without waiting. The response is handled later. Synchronous calls are simple but may slow down applications if the response time is high. Asynchronous calls improve performance and user experience, especially in large applications. Modern applications often use asynchronous communication for better scalability. So these were question 31 to 40 explained clearly and practically. Make sure you understand concepts like statelessness, client server architecture, throttling, and async communication because these are very important in real world development. If this helped you, like the video and subscribe to Corporate Nomi for more interview preparation content. See you in the next video. Thank you.